Hello, welcome to the week 3 announcement for the Python Programming and ArcGIS course, job 453-651. This week brought to you by Dorsey's Knob. To recap the previous week's topic, what you're currently working through on chapter 3, looking at control statements. So giving the computer more particular, more specific directions that allows it to, in a sense, make choices, do things more than once, between the if-then statements or conditional statements that allows the computer to check something, and if that something turns out to be true, then it does one thing or one set of things, and if it turns out to be false, it does another set of things or just simply moves on. The other control statement is loops, two kinds of loops. The for loop, which says I want this set of statements to happen a set number of times, 5, 10, 12, or the number of items in this list. Do it for every item in the list. That is all a for loop. Other type of loop is the while loop, where you keep doing that same thing over and over again, and it continues that until a particular condition is met or is true. And then it will, and once the conditions are such that it leaves the loop, it will leave the loop. So you can say, while my box is not filled, keep adding things to the box. When the condition is true that the box is filled, then you're done. The main thing to watch out for there in terms of logic is be careful about infinite loops, where if your condition is never going to be met and you're stuck in the loop forever, because ArcGIS is ArcGIS, you will probably think it is just taking its own time and taking a while to do something when really it's a bug that needs to be fixed and you're stuck in an infinite loop. From the, putting aside the logic, from the parsing or reading Python perspective, the main things are, there are the cues that you're setting up a control structure, the keyword at the start, whether that's if, for, or while, and at the end of that line, a colon, and then everything that is to happen inside that control structure, whether it's the true and the false parts for the if statement, or what happens inside the loop for the two kinds of loops, it must be indented one level. The computer is looking very specifically at that indentation level to know when it is inside the loop and when it is done with the loop or the if-then statement. So that indentation is very critical and is a frequent source of errors and bugs. Those are control statements. Looking forward to the next chapter, chapter 4, on kind of building up from there into larger blocks of code as functions, as well as more complex kinds of variables, objects, which themselves, instead of just containing a value, can contain a series of values or properties that are similar to variables within an object context. Likewise, they can have code that they run, or methods, which function a lot like functions within the object context. So that's looking ahead to functions and objects. In terms of deadlines, you have the lab associated with chapter 3 coming up on Friday the 11th, and the lab associated with chapter 4 on the 18th. So, those are the upcoming deadlines. Hopefully you've all turned in and finished Lab 2 this past Friday on the 4th. Announcements, I do have office hours, 12:30 to 2 today on Wednesday. And the last announcement, you have probably seen something by now from the university about all of the face-to-face classes, or most of them, moving online because of the rise in COVID cases. Because this course was online from the beginning, it is not affected. So any deadlines, everything is following the schedule that we already have laid out. So there's no need to worry about that. As always, if you have questions, please reach out. You can reach out through email. You can also, especially if you're stuck on a lab and it's like, okay, I'm getting really frustrated and I keep getting this red error message and I need to fix something. That's why I put my text number in the syllabus and and I'll have it in the email announcement for today, so that though you have access to that, you can email me to say, I am really stuck, I need help as soon as possible, and I will respond as quickly as I can getting the message. And I may not be able to set up a Zoom immediately, but I would let you know my first availability so that we can set up a Zoom and get things resolved ASAP. So as always, please reach out. So that concludes the announcements. So stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you at the next video.